WrestleMania weekend is upon us, my friends. We got a lot to talk about with this NXT show.
I am excited. This was a very fun week of wrestling, and it's going to continue to be a very fun week of wrestling. But, we had Monday Night Raw on Monday. It was what it was. We had the Hall of Fame ceremony on Tuesday, which was very fun as well and very nice to see come back. And now we got into the real meat of this week, and that was NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. That for the first time, it went 2 nights, just like WrestleMania is going 2 nights this year. And not going to lie, I was a little skeptical about the 2-night thing. But if there's one thing that I was proven wrong so far this week is that I was totally okay with it. It really served its purpose. And if it's anything we're going to see this weekend, it was very well paced out and everybody got their time. And with the exception of night 1 being on USA and being held back by like commercials and time restraints due to TV, I think this was honestly the best way to go.
I would agree to that, Kris. Do you think it delivered?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. One of the biggest NXT fans I know. Yeah. Oh no, I was just saying you're one of the biggest NXT fans I know. So I'm like, it seems like a rhetorical question.
Yes. Since day one, I actually spent some time. I haven't caught up. I got close, but I actually spent the time and watched every recorded NXT taping they had on WWE Network.
Wow.
I know how this show works. I like what Triple H and Shawn Michaels have been doing back there. They have been writing a good program.
Yeah.
Say all you want about Triple H, he had the right mind for this business. And a lot of people say Vince is out of touch. He doesn't know what he's doing anymore. And Triple H is honestly the best person to success him because he, a lot of people say this, but it's honestly true with Triple H that he eats, sleeps, and breathes this business.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want about the man. If you hate him, go ahead. But you can't say he can't book a wrestling show because he's done it for the past like 6-7 years now. And
yeah. I can't wait until Hunter gets the keys to the kingdom eventually. But for right now, we got 2 nights of TakeOver Stand and Deliver, 10 matches. Let's get right to it. If you guys are new to this game that we play, click that big old red subscribe button if you haven't already. What the heck are you waiting for? Hit that thumbs up button as well. It would mean the world. One other thing I gotta say is that there were a lot more fans in the Capitol Wrestling Center this time around, which really made the difference. They were loud both nights the whole way through. You had the awesome Survivor Series 1998-esque entranceway with the big old skull. I was singing the Deadly Game theme to Tommaso over text as the show was going on. But here it is. Night 1 begins with Kushida one-on-one with Pete Dunne in a match.
We did have a pre-show match. And I thought that was just worth bringing up because I was watching the pre-show and that's why I noticed there was a lot more fans. And the one question I had was, would we be able to hear them? Because we still have barriers, we still have masks, and a lot of people's voices would be muffled, but it really showed. And the first nitpick that I'm going to get out of the way with this NXT TakeOver, which thankfully they corrected the very next night, is WWE. You can hear the fans now. No pipes and cheers. Not when there's fans there, because it gets very disorienting. We don't know who's chanting what, and we obviously know what the fake chants are. Like the biggest example I can think of is WWE. You'll see a pipe in an MSK chant. If the fans want to chant for them, they will. And I know the difference between an actual fans chant and this weird monotone fabricated chant that you've created for these wrestlers that unfortunately haven't gotten a chance to perform in front of a WWE audience. So I just felt like, I think they were just playing it safe for night 1. And thankfully they cut it out for night 2, because that's one thing I will say about night 2 that I enjoyed more than night 1 is that the fans were in full control come night 2. I think Stark and Storm were the perfect, guinea pigs for this crowd, because this crowd was ready. And this was a fun little match. And
Oh, you're good.
Is Zoe Stark gets the win with a surprise roll up on Toni Storm. And this kind of just showed two things for me. Number one, I've kind of been annoyed with the way NXT has been booking Zoe Stark because they put her over as this, oh, here's this new talent that we have. She's so driven and she's so, it's talented. We want to see what she's going to do. But she's been booked to lose almost every single match. In her second match,
like they show clips of her arriving to the arena with Io Shirai just to put her over. Like
in her second match on NXT, she's already wrestling the champion, which she obviously loses. And then where do you go from there? You've already lost the champion in your second match. So I think Stark needed this. If they're going to push her for real, Zoe needed this win. And I was the perfect opponent. And now that Toni Storm has lost, don't be surprised if you hear her really badass theme song on an episode of Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown coming up. Just saying that now.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Tomas and I were talking about that, and I didn't even think about Toni Storm as a potential call-up. But there are two huge call-ups that I do want to discuss when we get to them. I unfortunately did not watch this pre-show match because I was in traffic on my way home from work because screw Peacock and its stupidity. But anyway, the show does open up with Kushida versus Pete Dunne to determine who is the best technical wrestler on the NXT brand, quote unquote. This was a fine match. I really liked it. I didn't think they really got enough time though. I think they were kind of burdened with the how do I want to put this? They were kind of burdened with being on USA on night one because they were only given 10 minutes. And they threw all they could at each other.
I really enjoyed this match too. This was a nice little, I want to say this was an appetizer. This was definitely a good match to kind of get the fans jump started, to kind of get them excited. And the only unfortunate thing is that with this match, it didn't matter who won, the loser was going to suffer. Because the last thing you want to have Pete Dunne. But at the same time, Kushida is kind of already in this weird place all the time. We've praised Kushida on this channel a lot, and it pains me to see him continuously getting booked to lose. Because the more he loses, the less they're gonna possibly do something with him, and that's a damn shame. Because Kushida, I would definitely put in my top 5 in NXT. From the presentation to the wrestling style, he's damn good. Honestly, just a shame to see him lose so much.
Yeah, I can agree to that, Chris. What do you think about Kushida and Dunne here? Think they matched up well?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie with you, gentlemen. Night one went hard for me. I liked night one. I have 3 match of the night contenders.
Wow.
Kushida and Dunne is one of them.
There you go. There you go.
It was a very well put together match. I liked every sequence. They are both very good technical wrestlers. It is extremely hard to transition from one move to another, and let alone make it look seamless like they did. It was just a very good tip of the cap to technical wrestling, and I enjoyed it. It was a great story. I'm gonna be honest, I'm happy Dunne went over because I feel like he's been taking a couple losses.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my cat's going crazy right now, apparently.
Thanks for WrestleMania.
Yes. I feel Dunne needed this win more than Kushida did. And yes, Kushida may be on a losing streak, but let's not forget other people who debuted and were on a decent losing streak, like Dream. When he debuted, I remember he was losing match after match, takeover after takeover. I'm like,
Velveteen Dream.
why is Patrick losing all the time? So
I would say,
silly gimmick.
The main difference between Kushida and Dream is, obvious right now. But we're not here to talk about that. But I do agree with you that Dunne definitely needed the win a little more. It's just a shame to see Kushida lose so much. And that's why I was saying, months ago, it's unfortunate they couldn't put the North American title on Kushida when they did. Not saying they still can't do it. It's just that, I think it's more of a personal, it's a shame that Kushida had to take the L again. Any memorable spots from this match?
Yeah, so there were a few. Beth Phoenix had a perfect analysis of this match. There was a point where she said, "This is like a tennis match," and I'm like, she's absolutely 100% right, because they're going back and forth. They're just doing hoverboard locks, Spanish flies all over the place. Kushida is bumping like crazy. There was a point where I actually wrote in my notes, and I can quote this directly: "What the hell are these submissions?" Because they were pulling out some shit that I've never seen before in my life. It was awesome technical wrestling, to Chris's point. Lots of finger snapping, of course, because it's a Pete Dunne match. You got to have it. And there was a lot of finger snapping on night 1 and on night 2 for that matter. And Pete Dunne actually did post on Twitter something along the lines of, "I see everybody's learning. They're learning. Everybody's doing the finger snap because of me." And I'm like, yeah, Pete Dunne is a role model. But he basically goes around, he hits a bitter end, and that's a 3 count. I don't want to say it's out of nowhere, but new theme song for Pete Dunne also, which kind of disappointed me because I really like his music. The
theme song, but no, that was a perfect analogy to describe this match. Sorry, I had to go away for a second because
you're good.
Something distracted me. At the end, I'd probably give it a 3.25 stars, just because, like I said before, this was the perfect appetizer match. And I don't know about you, sometimes when I go to a restaurant, sometimes the appetizer is the best damn thing about the meal. So definitely Kushida and Dunne was that perfect appetizer match to get, the fans jump started into going on to some more amazing action we would get later on to this night. Thankfully, this show was a 5-course meal that didn't just end with the appetizer.
Yes. Yeah, this was a very good opener. I gave it a 3.5 stars. I think I would have gone higher if it got more time, but that's not their fault. I'm going to disagree respectfully with Kris on this one. I wish Kushida would have won. I think he needed it more, but and again, wish it went longer.
Respectfully disagreed with.
Yeah.
Respectfully disagreed with. I appreciate the respect, sir. How dare you disagree with me?
We're all here to have fun,
Up next, we had a match that in the beginning I was a little scared of, that I thought was going to be kind of a fustercluck. William Regal announced that there was going to be a battle royal, and the last 6 people remaining in the battle royal were going to move on to a Gauntlet Eliminator match, which I hate that name, by the way. Both NXT and AEW are guilty of this. I just really don't. I think it's worse in AEW because they call it a tournament eliminator. I was like, well, that's kind of redundant. Of course you eliminate people in a tournament. That doesn't make any sense, but that's beside the point. And the order of entry for this Gauntlet Eliminator was going to be determined by who got thrown out at what time in the Battle Royal. And it just sounded very complicated, but the match got started. It got really good. And we have Leon Ruff, Isaiah Swerve Scott, who I'm going to be talking about a lot in this match, LA Knight, Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, and oh my God, this is embarrassing. Who was the last person?
Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes.
Chris's dude, Cameron Grimes.
Are you kidding me? That man is all kinds of greasy. No. I would. No offense to Cameron Grimes, you're a good worker, dude, but I would not tie up with you in a heartbeat. I'd just slip right off.
There was directly quoting Kris when we went to an NXT house show. Cameron Grimes wrestled Leo Rush on that show, and Cameron Grimes is making his entrance, and he's being his usual smarmy self. And you can hear Kris as I'm filming Cameron come out. I hear Kris goes, "He's so greasy, I hate it." And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of his gimmick.
So greasy.
Yeah, but
Open up this Gauntlet Eliminator with Ruff and Swerve Scott, and they are having a pretty damn good feud on NXT right now. Unfortunately, they weren't able to have their one-on-one match, but they have this ongoing running theme where Leon Ruff, this poor guy, cannot make his entrance because every time he does, Swerve Scott attacks him on the ramp, and this is no different. And me and Zack were talking in this match saying how much we love Isaiah Scott as a heel.
Oh, he fits so much better as a heel. Well, like his character and like just the nickname also, Swerve. Like that just sounds heelish and cocky heelish.
So slimy. And
yeah.
He walks the ring with his hands behind his back and that devilish little smile. He looks like, you know, a villain out of a superhero movie, and he's just playing the part so well. And I like the story that him and Ruff are telling right now with I think Swerve is just so jealous because Ruff is, you know, getting all this attention. He's a former NXT North American champion.
Somehow.
And he's hey, I'm going to be complimenting Ruff a lot in this match. But Ruff has actually been a lot more successful than Swerve Scott. So I think the jealousy has overtaken Scott to the point where he just wants to beat the shit out of this poor kid.
Yeah, before we continue, may I complain about the rules of this match for a second?
Please, the floor is all yours.
Yes. Okay. So basically, two guys start in the ring. Every 4 minutes, you get a new competitor coming in. You get eliminated by pinfall or submission. Does this sound familiar to anybody? This is literally just an elimination chamber match without a cage. That's all this is.
And I understand where you're coming with that, but I was kind of thinking about it, and I don't necessarily see how that's a bad thing, because as this match went on, I think this match was better than an Elimination Chamber match because they weren't so restricted by the actual cage. I'm sorry, but for the past years, Elimination Chamber matches have felt so restricted because you see the same spots over and over. They go into the cage wall. They slam them on the floor. They go through the pod. Someone jumps off the pod. Here, at least they had the entire arena to kind of play around, like Ruff and Scott did in the beginning. They were fighting all over around the ring before the match even started. So I think that, you know, yes, it's very reminiscent of an Elimination Chamber match, but I feel like these guys had a lot more freedom in this match than, I'm sorry, all 12 men had.
I don't know. Yeah, but they to your point, they do rough each other up a little bit. Heel Swerve has got some great selling. Thank you, Tomas. Bronson Reed is in at number 3, and Kris is grinning from ear to ear because Bronson Reed is a big fella, and he is pitching these two cruiserweights everywhere.
So this is when the crowd really started coming alive, because we got our first chant, the Thick Boy Season chant. And that's when I was like, oh, yes, the fans are back, and the fans are in control now.
Every season is Thick Boy Season. Let's go.
The Bronson Reed is awesome. Bronson Reed is just German suplexing both guys at the same time, which made me very happy indeed. Bronson Reed sits on Leon Ruff not once, but twice. This is your new... Poor guy.
Fans asked him to. See how evil the fans are now that they're back?
Yeah. Chanting one more time.
Okay. You have no idea how... Okay, you get the human javelin pole on the mat, and then you get this 300-plus guy to free fall onto his chest and his lower back. That hurts.
Yeah.
That will knock the wind out of anyone. And he did it to the human javelin pole.
He easily could have crushed Ruff's ribs.
Yep, that is the new definition of a squash match right there.
And this is where I'm going to go and compliment Leon Ruff, because watching this match, this kid can fly. He is bouncing all over the place. He's doing flips. He's springing off the ropes. He is dodging offense like no other. And I'm sorry, this is when I looked at this match and I go like, this is why, you know, Triple H likes this kid. And I will go as far as saying he has a very Ricochet-esque, you know, defense to him. Where he is bouncing off the ropes and he's flipping around and all that stuff.
let's not compare him to Ricochet just yet. I don't think he's that good.
They're both very athletic. I'm not saying he.
But he's not like flipping over the top rope and landing on his feet to go meet his takeover opponent on the ramp. So
nobody else can do that. I'm just saying it's very Ricochet-esque.
Because Ricochet is awesome and he is underutilized. But here we go. Cameron Grimes enters the mix and all of his money in his trunks. He does a moonsault. He gives... This is one of my favorite spots of the match, guys. Cameron Grimes pulls a fat stack of cash out of his trunks and he pays Swerve to team up with him, and Swerve actually puts the cash in his own trunks. I'm like, gross, but you're teaming up with each other now.
So uncomfortable. That must have been so uncomfortable for Swerve to wrestle and that with that stack of cash in his trunks for the rest of the duration of this match. He didn't throw it to the side. He didn't give it to hey, hold on to this for me. No, he said, I'm going to wrestle the rest of this match with this big old wad of cash in my trunks.
Yep. I don't know how Swerve did it. Bonus points to him for doing that. The Creep Farm is out next. Dexter Lumis. How in the hell is he a babyface? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, but this is actually also the point,
because at the end of this match, that's actually going to play into an opinion that I have, basically.
Yeah, for sure. But this was the odds-on favorite heading into this match because everyone knew he had history with the Way. And as he was making his entrance, that's actually the point where Swerve pinned Leon Ruff and eliminated him. I don't remember what move he hit on him, but I just noted that's where it happened.
That's a rarity in NXT. They missed the elimination.
Yeah, yes, he did. Lumis, there was a Lumis and Dexter or Bronson. Can I not talk? Dexter Lumis and Bronson Reed had a nice exchange with each other. I almost called him Dexter Reed. That doesn't make sense. There was a nasty landing that Dexter Lumis, he did like the Mick Foley clothesline to somebody, and he almost freaking twisted his ankle on the outside. That could not have been comfortable whatsoever. And then the last man comes out. It's L.A. Knight. The stupidest name in history.
I fucking loved that he was cutting a promo on his way to the ring.
He was roasting people.
And I loved how he went off to Ruff after he's eliminated and just fucking kicks him. Literally kicks him while he's down. Like, Knight, he's not in the match anymore. Fucking leave him alone.
Very reminiscent of, you guys remember the Royal Rumble one year where Heath Slater was trying to make his way to the ring and he just couldn't, and people were just kicking him on the way down, and Big E was feeding him pancakes or whatever, and then he eliminated Sheamus once he finally made it. Like, that's what it reminded me of. But yeah, LA Knight is roasting everybody left and right. Bronson Reed throws him back in, just like he was a cruiserweight, like he did to Leon Ruff earlier. That man is freakishly strong.
I don't want to jump the gun too much right now, but I just fucking love Bronson Reed. And he definitely was the MVP in this match. And I think that's when we got the most creative pair of eliminations in this match, where, is this where Lumis locked on silence?
Yes. It must have been Grimes. I think it was Grimes.
Yes. He locked it into Grimes, and then Knight runs and does a flip into a jackknife cover and pins both Grimes and Lumis at the same time. And that's when I kind of jumped out of my seat.
I was
because, like you
so
said,
happy.
Lumis was, the favorite in this match. And the fact that him and Grimes both got pinned, it got me excited. We all know what happens at the end of this match, but it really got me excited. And now our last three men are Knight, Scott, and Reed.
Yeah. By the way, I should note that this was Eli Drake versus Sam Shaw, just like in Impact Wrestling. Now here in NXT, what the heck is this world we weave? Yeah. So to your.
I make a reference to that.
Yeah.
That reminded me. Thank you.
Yeah. So Drake pins Lumis, and then Bronson Reed pins Knight with the senton, is what happened after that. Just absolutely squishes him. And then Lumis locks in silence on Knight shortly after that. There is your new feud, guys. It's just like Impact. Kris is looking forward to it. Kris is looking forward to the inevitable strap match that we're going to get.
Very excited to see that Reed and Swerve Scott were the last two in this match. Because, again, I know Lumis was the odds-on favorite. In a predictable world, it probably would have came down to Lumis and Knight. And the fact that it didn't, I like to see this. I like to see guys that don't usually get the shot. Like, I feel like NXT, this is the place to do it. You know, I feel like you would never see this on Raw or SmackDown. They have, like, you know, they're set guys, and this, you know, exactly, you know, like in the Elimination Chamber, the ending was Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso. You know, Bryan was going to go over. Could you imagine if it was, you know, Cesaro, Kevin Owens? You know, that would have been a little unpredictable. But again, that's why seeing Reed and Scott in the final made me so happy, because I'm also a Swerve player, and I feel like he has been definitely underutilized since he's been in NXT. He's another example, like a Kushida, where I hate to see Swerve Scott lose so much. So seeing him get opportunity made the wrestling fans be happy.
Yeah, I can attest to that. But man, this sequence, and actually, I do have written down that Swerve rolled up Cameron Grimes with tights to eliminate him, and there was a little bit of a betrayal there. I don't think, I don't know if, yeah, he just wasted his money. I don't think Cameron Grimes cares, does he, Kris?
No, I really don't.
He can't stand Cameron Grimes. I love it. But okay, so yeah, this sequence between Swerve and Reed was freaking awesome, gentlemen. Power slam by Swerve onto Bronson Reed on the apron. How did Swerve get him up for that? Because Bronson Reed is a big fella, and Swerve
for a reason.
Swerve picked him up like he was nothing for a power slam. 450s, 2 house calls in a row, but Bronson Reed keeps kicking out. This guy is awesome. But then he just goes and pins Swerve with his finish. Bronson Reed is going on tonight too, as we'll talk about in just a second.
I love how Wade Barrett calls that move. Yes, I was very happy that Bronson Reed got the win here. I think it was back during our first NXT TakeOver review together, where I talked about, you know, what the title of Bronson Reed. I feel like that was the time to do it, back in that ladder match where who won?
It was Damian Priest.
Yeah, that's where I feel like Reed should have had the title, because I feel like, you know, we have stars of the pandemic. You know, those people that have been there when everything shut down and they were wrestling in the PC in front of no people. Bronson Reed was one of the guys. And that's where, you know,
Street Profits.
Definitely.
What?
Yeah, not irrelevant right now, but yeah. Definitely, you know, Reed was one of those all-stars. And he really proved himself in that match. He's been proving himself all year. And again, to see him get this win and get another shot at the NXT North American title, the first thing I said to Zack was, put the fucking strap on him. Put the strap on him. He's over with the crowd. And tonight proved it even more, because he was over as hell. He was probably more over than Kushida and Dunne were in the opener. Yeah, I said
it. You know, now that I think about it, you're totally right. You're totally right. These people really wanted Bronson Reed to go over. But yeah, this was a very fun gauntlet match. I mean, as much as I complained about the stipulation, but I honestly, I don't know about you, Kris, but I feel like this would have been more interesting as a one fall match. Like, rather than just elimination.
Like, just have a 6-way eliminator turmoil kind of thing.
Yeah. Just have like
have them all in the ring at the same time.
6-pack challenge. Yeah.
I thought it was just gonna be like a normal gauntlet, like Ruff start, Swerve eliminates Ruff, then comes, you know, Reed. That's what I thought it was gonna be.
Me too. I thought it was gonna be a normal gauntlet, like one pin leads to the next one. But no, they all just kept coming, and they almost had all 6 of them in the ring.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that part of the match because it allowed for more sequences to be done, different lockups, and it made the match more intriguing.
I give the match 4 stars, and this isn't
Wow.
my match of the night, but this was my moment of the night.
Mm.
Win the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think this was the best match of the night, but this is definitely what I marked out the most. This was
Yeah.
what marked out.
Bronson Reed, yeah, going over in the Gauntlet for sure. What would you give this, Chris? Probably not
I
a 2.
also give it a 4.
Wow. I gave it
Not-
3 3/4.
not a 2.
I gave it 3 3/4. I don't know why I didn't go 4, but
That's one more tangent I want to go on before we move on. You know, we have our we have our Kyle O'Reillys, we have our Finn Balor's, we have our Walters, but you gotta say, sometimes WWE has some really good homegrown talent. And I feel like Bronson Reed is one of those guys that WWE can say, hey, we made this guy.
yeah.
True and true. And it's not necessarily a bad thing to see WWE, push these guys. Because
Yes.
we have our LA Knights, we have our Dexter Lumises, we have our, our you know what I mean. But it's okay to see a Velveteen Dream get pushed. It's okay to see a Bronson Reed get pushed. It's okay to see a Gable Stevenson get pushed.
Yeah. He's
A foreshadow.
God, that guy's gonna be pushed to the moon once he makes his debut. But
We just signed. A lot of them are, not in DDR, with the exception of Taya Valkyrie. I feel like these are all, we haven't seen them in like Impact or Ring of Honor or anywhere else.
yeah, and we'll be seeing Taya Valkyrie make her debut as Frankie Monet this Tuesday. But guys, my body is ready to talk about this. Walter defending the United Kingdom Championship against Tommaso Ciampa. This was so awesome. Tommaso Ciampa comes out and he is OG Ciampa, daddy's home, and he looks like a
I'm
million
so
bucks.
happy he shaved.
Oh, he doesn't
I'm
look
so happy he shaved.
Is
his
ready
head.
for this. My body was feeling it already.
these
And yes, I agree. Ciampa looks better bald.
These two fellas
Yes.
went out there, and first of all, before we get deeper into this match, none of these people sang Walter's theme, which made me so upset. And Chris mentioned that on one of our other pods, and I noticed that.
I heard a couple people.
No, none of them sing it.
A couple people.
I heard.
That could have been WWE's shitty, mixing, trying to put the piped-in crowd with the live crowd, and that's why, thank God, they cut that shit out the next night.
No, I heard more people singing Ciampa's "No One Will Survive" over this. Once that part of the song comes in, no one will. I heard them sing that. I didn't hear them sing Walter's shit. Yeah. No, Walter's over. Are you kidding me?
I know. That's why I said that.
Walter's.
I know he is.
This generation's Bruno Sammartino. Mark my words. But here we are. These fellas went out there for about 20 minutes and chopped each other as hard as they fucking could. I loved the story of this match. Walter, they go outside for a little bit. Walter misses a chop and he hits his hand and breaks the announce desk. He breaks the little cover. Yes, he literally breaks it.
The only way that could have been better is if Walter chopped the table clean in half, which may have been a little bit much, but I think he's that strong.
That would have been a little bit much.
You could not pay me to take one of Walter's chops. I'm pretty sure he could break my ribs with one of his chops.
You would have to, yeah, Chris, you'd have to be an extremely brave man to get in the ring with Walter, huh?
Okay. Cruiserweights, very small. Tommaso Ciampa is a cruiserweight.
Yep.
Walter is a heavyweight. He's almost a super heavyweight.
Yep.
He's a big boy. He has a big hand, and it's just a target. There's nothing to protect you here. You can't go like this. You just gotta sit there and take it.
Oh, God. Big old frying pans to the chest. Like, Chris doesn't want to do it.
Kali, Big Show. And now we can add Walter to that list.
Walter's
Guys
chops
with the
hurt more than
massive
those guys.
hands.
Walter's chops have to hurt more.
Oh,
Any day.
Yeah.
so that's the thing. I would too. I'd take a Kali chop first. I'd take a Big Show shot in the middle, and I'd save the Walter one for like I wouldn't do a Walter one. Walter has technique. He's a big boy, but he's not the biggest boy. So he has to throw technique in there, and he's perfected this big hand, big guy chop. Big Show and Kali, they just have size and power, so they just drop it.
Yes.
Walter throws his hand, as we can see by the remains of the announce table.
He's like a grizzly bear. Like, imagine just a grizzly bear taking its giant paw and just swatting it at your face. That's what Walter is.
That's a pretty freaking nimble grizzly bear then, because Walter, like, I don't think everybody really understands how amazing Walter is. Like, to Chris's point, he gets the technique down pat. And with the right opponent, like an Ilya Dragunov or a Tyler Bate, to a certain extent, as much as we don't like talking about Tyler Bate over here. But yeah, those kind of opponents, Ciampa was an excellent opponent for Walter. And
I noticed that he's also definitely a guy that if you're in a fight with, he's just this big grizzly bear, and he likes to go for like submissions where he gets on top of you. And I could just imagine how difficult it would be to wrestle your way out of that. He likes to like climb on your back and just like do like the face locks where he covers your face. And I couldn't imagine just like, trying to get this man off of you.
Chris is having nightmares right now over there, trying to imagine getting out of a Walter submission.
No. Okay. Do you guys want another fun fact tidbit?
Hell yeah, we do.
Thing about the inside the business.
Here we go.
So those are what we call wrestle holds, and they're so the big boys can breathe.
Yeah.
Because it's really exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I can only imagine still having all that mass right on top of you. Just be like, okay, Walter, can you get the fuck off of me right now?
Walter's a big boy.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
So, I remember, I forgot what match it was, but I remember telling Brittany, I want to see Walter go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar.
Oh, God, that'd be the slowest match in the world.
Because I think in a real fight, Walter could.
Oh, man.
It'd be I want to see it. I want to see it because I know it'd be the slowest match in the world. It'd be a 30-minute match with 20 minutes of it of the guys just breathing heavily, walking around the ring.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Ciampa was not breathing heavily.
Walter has more stamina than Lesnar.
Yeah, Ciampa, there was a point where Ciampa was like running the ropes and he was hitting clothesline after clothesline after clothesline on Walter. If I could nitpick, that might have been a little bit excessive, but I kind of get the story they were telling there. But
what, the 30 clotheslines? No, it wasn't excessive. 31 would have been excessive.
Yeah, 31.
That's damn difficult.
Yes. But these guys hit each other with everything possible. Walter puts on a single leg Boston Crab because he's selling his hand that he broke on the announce table because Walter's that great of a ring general. Ciampa, again.
I appreciate from this match was the storytelling. Was that was revolved around Ciampa knows he can't take too many of these chops. So Ciampa hurt the hand to the point where Walter can't use it anymore. And it was affecting everything. In that same sequence, Walter tried to hook on the Boston Crab and he couldn't do it. So it turned to a single leg crab. And then he tried to step over into an STF and he still couldn't do that because that still required, the face lock aspect of it. And Walter's right hand was just not, it wasn't working. And so I appreciate, the storytelling that they in this match.
And yet Walter's still powering out of Tommaso Ciampa's finisher. That is a freak of nature right there. But Champa eventually does hit the fairy tale ending for a nice near fall. Champa, to your point, working on that hand like there's no tomorrow. He's biting Walter's hand, psycho killer to the max. This is what Walter asked for in story. So, that's what we got. He was hitting a white noise. He hit an avalanche white noise. That's another thing. These.
Air raid crash.
What's up?
Air raid crash.
Air raid crash. Thank you. Yeah, air raid crash. So, he does get awesome near falls all over the place. And another thing is this match was insanely predictable, but with the psychology, they made you believe that Ciampa could have beaten him.
And to think, this was supposed to be Ciampa and Bachelor versus Imperium.
Oh, yep.
I think we got the better end of this.
Mm-hmm.
I would second that.
I third that. I was so happy with this match. The fans are chanting "Fight Forever," which is, a great. Yeah, that's a.
That felt like
that they were absolutely chanting "Fight Forever," but I mean.
Okay, thank you again. My perspective is so thrown off because WWE can't decide if they want to let the fans cheer or if they want to put their stupid chants in.
Yes, Walter is working over Ciampa's surgically repaired neck, 2 straight power bombs, and Ciampa keeps kicking out. But then Walter finally chops him one more time and gets a 3. Guys, 4.5 stars. This was an awesome fight. Stiff, physical, dramatic. What's not to like? I don't really like that Walter just beat him with a chop, though.
Yeah. I had an issue with that as well.
Thought I would, but again, would you guys take a chop from Walter?
No.
I think that could easily beat a regular man. And the fact that Champa took several of these, and that just one more chop was just not enough. Because to be fair, Walter has won matches with like a power bomb and even jumping off the top rope. I just don't think that was really necessary. I think again, Walter's chops are just that devastating that I couldn't kick out of one of those.
Yeah, but if the chops aren't working and the power bombs aren't working, don't you think he would go deep into his playbook to try and find something that'll beat him if he's such a ring general? I don't know.
In this particular story, he was trying to neutralize the hand, and it just it was. I think that this match was revolving around the chop.
Yeah, I can get behind that, but again, this was.
I'm also a man that hates when a match just ends with a clothesline. But if it's a strong enough clothesline, I can kind of see where it's coming from. And I think Walter is the only one he gets the pass.
If this
was anybody else, I'd be like, oh, come on, really?
Yeah, kind of like how Bradshaw always got a pass for hitting a clothesline at the end of every match.
Don't you dare disrespect the clothesline from hell.
I want to see Bradshaw doing a clothesline from hell.
That shit's powerful.
It is.
JBL is the person that got me into clotheslines. I didn't give a shit about clotheslines.
JBL and Stan Hansen.
Okay.
Big man had a picture that get the clothesline pass.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh man! All right, guys. Any final thoughts on this match before we continue?
Oh yeah, 4.5 stars. This was match of the night.
Match of the night for me too.
4.5 stars. This was one of my contenders for match of the night.
Yes, indeed. One of the few points where we're all in agreement on a match. This is instant classic on a takeover. Go watch this, if nothing else, on night 1. But here we are with one of Tomas's favorite matches on the show, I'm sure. MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma for the vacant NXT Tag Team titles. Kris is marking out like a mother.
Such a great tag match.
This was
So fun.
Where only Lord unfortunately had to vacate the tag team titles due to injury, and I think we got the better end of the spectrum because MSK was always going to get the title shots. They've been feuding with Grizzled Young Veterans, and I just think adding Legado del Fantasma to that mix, not saying if Birch and Lorcan were in this match, it wouldn't be a good match. I'm just saying all three of them just worked so well.
Oh, yes, they did.
MSK mark I am. I've been following the Grizzled Young Vets in NXT UK. Even Legado, you know, you had two guys in Mendoza and Wild that weren't really doing anything before joining Santos Escobar.
Yeah.
But they just gel so well together. And I think they just added that extra flair to this match to make it that much better.
It's a great stable, man. Give them credit where they're due. And they kind of felt like the odd ones out because we saw MSK and the Vets do battle at Vengeance Day and the Dusty Classic. But, I mean, these three teams went in there and they just tore the house down. You want to hear my first nitpick, though? Vic Joseph said at one point that if there's no disqualification in a triple threat match, if that's the case, then why do these idiots need to tag in and out? That was the case for most of this match. like what's the point? Like,
because honestly, I think that would just restrict them, and you don't want to restrict them. Sometimes you just gotta. I just feel like sometimes you just gotta. I don't want to say what's the term? What's the phrase? Suspend your disbelief. I feel like with that, it's kind of like because think about it. If they did now, you know that would have been boring. You wouldn't have been able to get away with 90% of the match what they were doing. And if you made it just tornado tag, I feel like that would just be a little too much of a clusterfuck. So I mean, like for the sake of tag team wrestling, I think this worked. And it honestly wasn't something I was thinking about because I don't remember most of this match because this was 1,000 moves a minute.
It was. It really was.
They were doing shit that I didn't even think was even possible. Again, Legado felt like the odd man out, but there was at one point where all the teams are on the outside, and Wild did like a spinning corkscrew off the top rope, and Mendoza's doing a flip off the top rope, and it was just like, at that point, I was just like, what the hell is even going on in this match anymore?
Yep, I stopped keeping track of who was legal. They eventually stopped tagging, much to my glee. Yeah, MSK were flipping all over the ring and doing some crazy double team maneuvers, which was awesome. I'm just trying to see, you know, where. Yeah, they were kicking out of freaking finishers everywhere. This was just awesome. MSK eventually does get the upper hand, a double cutter by Nash Carter. And MSK end up pinning Zack Gibson clean with their finish. There you go. Exactly what Tomas wanted.
Look at these rascals down.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in love with this team ever since I started watching Impact again in October. When I heard they were making their way to WWE, yes, all they were in the Dusty Cup. And the first thing I said was, they're going to win it. They're going to win the tag titles. I am so happy for these guys. They deserve it. This is how you build stars. Now MSK is already a household name in NXT. It's all, you know, it's all downhill from here. And I know there were some people saying, oh, put the titles on Legado so they can be with Escobar and have all the titles. Spoiler alert. Put the titles on the Grizzled Young Vets so they can keep feuding with them. No, I feel like there was no other way to go than to put the titles on these damn rascals. And you saw like the emotion in their faces when they won this match. Kind of like they looked at each other and they were holding the belts, and it was kind of like, this is why we came to WWE. It was, you know, not the markout moment of the night for me, but it was the feel-good moment of the night for me.
This was the markout moment of the night for me, and the feel-good moment. You know, Bronson Reed wasn't expected, but like I was so happy for these guys. How about you, Chris?
I was very content with this match. This is my final match of the night contender. We'll see what happens, but this is also my contender for match of the week.
Really?
I very much enjoyed this. Yes, I thought it was phenomenal tag team wrestling. The 3 teams that participated were great. I like the Rascals. I always have. Grizzled young vets always show out. They're a great tandem. They know how to play off of each other. And Legado del Fantasma showed me something that I have not seen out of them. I was very impressed with them. They went hard in this match. They showed their case for why they should continue getting shots and maybe have a title run.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about this match at all. I personally think it would have been cool to see another team like, I don't know where they are. I don't know if one of them is injured, but Breezango would have been a cool addition to this.
I agree.
Because they were on the pre-show.
Yeah, the pre-show that I did not watch. Thank you, Peacock. But yeah, great match. 3 3/4 stars for me. I really, really dug this. But I mean, the opening, I don't know. I'm very picky with my tag team wrestling.
That's fine. No, I was gonna say this was another 4.5 star match for me because it was just, again, 1,000 moves a minute, and I feel like those are, sometimes it's okay to have a spot fest, and this was the definition of a spot fest.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed every second of it. If there's any match I'm going to go back and rewatch this week, it's going to be that one.
It was so hard for me to keep track of everything going on in there, but hey, that's the sign of a fun multi-man match. But
on the guy, but it's just a damn shame that Trey Miguel decided to not join his wrestle because I see what he's doing in Impact right now, and I'm not a fan. So I mean, I'm not trying to roast the guy, but it's a damn shame because seeing them as a trio team would have been fucking awesome.
Oh man, I agree. They could have put on freaking clinics with Legado, that's for sure, because they're a trio.
And Miguel did post on Instagram a picture of him with the Rascals, and he said, "Forever and ever." And Nash Carter commented and said, "And ever." And Wesley commented and said, "And ever." And I'm not gonna lie, that got me choked up a little. So it's nice to see that they're all still homies in the treehouse.
They are homies in the treehouse.
You never know, gentlemen. The knocking on the forbidden door is getting louder.
Yes, indeed. Because there's a lot of rumors floating around with a certain, Judas in my mind, but specifically, not going to get too deep into that. But oh boy, Io Shirai defending the women's title against Raquel Gonzalez. This was a fast start. Raquel was tossing Io all over the place. I mean, this was fine. I mean, Dakota Kai was out there ringside with Raquel Gonzalez, and she runs interference, and as expected, she was ejected to the back, and that plays absolutely no part in the finish.
I was exhausted by this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only, I want to say it's the only downside to takeovers, that unfortunately there's just so much good stuff that by the time you get to the main event, we're just so gassed out. I couldn't imagine being in the crowd for a takeover, but it's a bucket list. And, we're all going to get to do that in a couple years.
LA,
but
baby.
I can only imagine how exhausting it would be to be in the crowd for a live takeover. Oh. And I didn't necessarily have an issue with this match either. This was a very fun match, but yeah, I was gassed out by this point. And I think we all saw the finish coming.
Yeah.
I didn't. I did not see the finish coming. I did not. I'm shocked, surprised, excited, and disappointed all rolled into one.
I knew Gonzalez was going to win the title the minute she beat Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was the direction they were heading as soon as she pinned Io in War Games. Like,
I will admit, I think she's still green.
Yep.
But this was her best match she's ever had. Hands down.
She's come a long way from shoving Tegan Nox off the top rope and damn near breaking her neck.
Yeah. What is an Io Shirai title reign match without her jumping off of something huge? She goes to the freaking entrance at one point and she jumps off that Deadly Game skull onto Raquel, and that was a sick, nasty sound on the grates. And I was like, "You're stupid, Io. You're gonna kill yourself at some point."
I've seen Shirai do.
It's either a moonsault or crossbody.
Yep.
Crazy ass spots I've seen her do. This one looked the scariest. You know, couldn't you argue? Yeah, jumping off a steel cage wearing a trash can lid is scary, but at least she had like 7 women there to catch her.
That
you
is.
could say doing a moonsault off the house in your house was scary, but I don't know. Just the way Shirai dropped from that height, I heard when Gonzalez caught her, it just looked a lot more, I'd be scared shitless to do that spot.
I'd rather actually see where I'm jumping rather than just freaking putting a trash can on my head and being blind and hoping they catch me. But yeah, but
so, I'm gonna have to agree with Zack on this corporate riddle. I have to agree with him. When she jumped off the skull, she had Gonzalez to catch her. She's new at the catching game. She's still green.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, her opponent at In Your House was Candice LeRae,
right?
Won the title against Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley.
In Your House?
Io, yeah.
Oh. Well, then she had Rhea Ripley and Charlotte to catch her for that.
Yep, and they're both.
I'm gonna agree. War Games, when she put the trash can on her, I was frightened.
Yep.
A wrestler needs to see where they're going.
Yep. Io just has no fear.
Like, you can wrestle without hearing. It's a lot harder, but you can figure it out. You take a person's vision away,
Nope.
You need to see where everyone is at all times, otherwise you're gonna wind up hurting yourselves.
Yep.
Fair enough. And to be fair, I would not ever do any of those spots. I would not do a backflip off a house. I would not jump off a skull, and I would not jump off a cage with a trash can over my head.
It's fun. Try it.
I there to catch me. I'll
endorsement. Try this at home.
I had surgery 5 times in my left knee.
Only 5?
Yeah, but so
underachiever.
Io makes a comeback. She does the Jushin Thunder Liger hand strike, whatever it's called. And then freaking Raquel Gonzalez just hits her one-armed powerbomb finisher, and then that's the end of Io's 300-day reign. I'll see you on Raw this Monday, Io Shirai. But anyway, I think it was way too early for Raquel to win the title. I'm going to side with Kris on this. I think she's still a little rough around the edges, but with the right opponents, she'll get better.
If you would have asked me this question last year, I would agree. I would say, yeah, don't put the title on Gonzalez. But considering that she spent a good amount of time in NXT with Dakota Kai, wrestling people like Rhea Ripley and doing War Games and, getting time to, kind of not perfect her craft. She obviously has a long way to go. I do think she was the most credible opponent left in NXT right now to take the title off. Because if you wait for them to build up Saray, or if you wait for them to build up Taya Valkyrie, I don't want Io Shirai. I don't think she would, but I don't want her to wear out her welcome. I do think, and again, I think Saray and Taya Valkyrie are going to be baby faces going to NXT. Boom, you got 2 opponents waiting for Gonzalez right there.
There you go, and you have the inevitable breakup with Dakota Kai that's looming, and I'm sure Dakota Kai would love to wrestle babyface against her, but I don't know, man. I mean, it'll be interesting, but gentlemen, I have a question for the class. You expect to see Io Shirai on Raw this Monday?
That is possibility. I know some real negative Nancy's that don't think anything big is going to happen on Monday because they're going to be in the Thunderdome, and I say bullshit. It's still the Raw after Mania. Yes, we're not going to have the wild, crazy crowd. Something.
Yep.
It's still the night after Mania. It's still, a brand new fresh start for WWE. They're going to have some, surprises.
One of your WrestleMania main eventers debuted on the Raw after Mania last year, gentlemen, in front of no crowd.
Yeah.
So
it's going to happen. So I won't be surprised. And I feel like, again, there's nothing left for Shirai to do. I think a rematch with Gonzalez is repetitive and unnecessary. It's time for her to move on. And, we got 2 brand new women coming to NXT.
Yep. I'd rather see her wrestle Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, all on the Raw side. SmackDown, you got a slew of women, but there's a big return coming on SmackDown. So
while they build up those 2 or 3 new women, you have, hopefully a babyface Dakota Kai. You have a Zoe Stark that's on the rise. You have people for Gonzalez to feud with, people for Gonzalez to mow down because she needs to.
Yeah, she needs to hold that title for a little bit, I think. But
I give the match 3.5 stars. It was good. It was enjoyable, but I just feel like it was very predictable, and I was gassed out by this point in the show. So a solid main event, but not the best.
3.25. I was exhausted by this point. It wasn't. It was far from Io Shirai's best match. My favorite match in her reign was actually at Halloween Havoc against Candice LeRae, the tables, ladders, and scares match. I loved that. It was so fun. But if this is Io's swan song, great run. I love this Matrix character that she has, or Dominatrix.
Don't fuck her up, but I know you will.
Don't fuck her up, Bids. What do you think, Chris? Did you give this main event a 2?
No, I gave it a 4.
What? No way.
I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. I thought it was Gonzalez's best match. I was surprised at the finish.
Okay.
I did not expect it. Do I think Io Shirai is going to the main roster yet? No, I do not.
All right.
I think that she can either continue, she can do a rematch thing. That'll give them another month before they can actually build up more people. They can have Dakota Kai and her split. That'll get you a couple months. But what I think they should do, or what I think is going to happen, during TakeOver Night 1, they introduced a new signee. I think her name is Saraya.
Yeah. The girl that was in the crowd with Steph, yeah?
So watch them tag her with Io Shirai, and they go after the tag titles. Because Io Shirai hasn't been a tag champ.
I'm just getting bad vibes from the beginning of the. Remember, they didn't have such a solid, good start.
No, they're literally going to Kabuki Warrior them.
God.
In the beginning, the Kabukis, they got paired up, and then you didn't see them for 6 months. And then decide, hey, let's turn them heel and turn up the dial. And then all of a sudden, they got awesome. I don't want to see that happen to Io Shirai unless they book it good from the start. Because there has been, rumors that they might do that with her and Asuka on Monday Night Raw. And everyone's saying, oh, great, it's the Kabuki Warriors all over again. And even though I like the Kabukis in their second half, when I was in attendance when they won the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, I don't want to see that shitty start again.
Yeah. I agree there. But
badass Japanese women, the Kabukis were a good idea, but they were executed so fucking terribly in the beginning.
Poor Kairi Sane, man. But yeah, there's night 1, ladies and gentlemen. It was a solid night of wrestling. Night 2 comes along, and it opens up with.
I don't want to rate this show. I don't want to rate them as separate shows. I want to rate it as a whole.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give my final rating at the end of night 2.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, but
before we start again, I'm sorry. We do have another pre-match show to talk about. It was Killian Dane and Drake Maverick versus Breezango in a number 1 contenders match for the NXT Tag Team title. The two only things I want to bring about this match because it was a so-so match. It was your typical NXT match. Number 1, the Breezango came out as pirates, which was hilarious, and it fit with the theme.
Of course they did.
Number 2, Breezango were working heels in this match. But, Dane and Maverick's whole gimmick is Maverick's a goofy, he's a little goofball, and Killian Dane, this big monster, is like, stop, get off of me, and no, we're not going to do the silly theme song, and you know what, I don't really like you, which I love their dynamic. And at one point in the match, Maverick puts the pirate hat on Dane's head, and it's hilarious. But, Breezango has been also known for being big goofballs. They're janitors, they're pilots, they're pirates, they're
police officers.
They're police officers. They're the fashion police. But even the commentators mentioned it, saying that Breezango wasn't in a playing mood tonight. They were being a little more aggressive. They were kind of, smacking around Maverick, like, come on, like we're not gonna do this shit tonight.
Because they want to be the champions again.
Yeah. So if they have a heel turn in mind for Breezango, I'd be on board with that.
I could see it, but again, this is not a match that I could check out because, again, Peacock sucks, and I was at work. But
Maverick and Dane won, surprisingly, and I think on Tuesday they're going to fight MSK. MSK is going to retain, but I like Dane and Maverick. They're a fun little team, and I enjoy laughing at the silly little things they do, like Maverick putting the pirate hat on Dane's head, and they're like a big and little brother. Like, Dane doesn't like Maverick, but the minute someone starts beating him up, he's like, hey, no, only I do that.
It's almost like Team Hell No, like in a lot of ways. Not as funny as Team Hell No, but, nothing's as funny as Team Hell No in my eyes. But ladder match, Undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Championship, Santos Escobar versus Finn Balor. Oh, sorry, that's Jordan Devlin. My bad. Because they look exactly the freaking same.
Hey, even in the beginning of NXT UK, Devlin said he was called Finn Balor, Jr. I think he was even trained by Balor.
He was. The crowd was chanting, "You're not Balor"
at him. What are y'all talking?
What?
Okay, y'all, just because they're both Irish, no one would mistake that block of a head Devlin's got. His head is so square. It's like a perfect cube.
Fair. The fans said it first.
I'm just saying, like, when Jordan Devlin first appeared on WWE TV, one of the first things I heard the crowd chant at him was, "You're not Balor." And I'm like, I can't get that out of my head now. Like,
okay, why,
introductory
right?
video package.
Yes.
Devlin was saying he's been compared to Balor his entire life.
Because Balor trained him.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Devlin is Balor's student.
Yeah. Like Becky Lynch is one of Balor's students. So, like.
I do agree with Zack, though. He does kind of look like him.
Yeah.
But to Chris's point as well, I remember when the first time I saw Nikki Cross, the first thing I said was, oh, she's just a Becky Lynch clone. Because she was practically the same gimmick.
I don't see it. I don't see that one.
When she was Insanity, when she first started, the way they were presenting her, like, are you really just recycling gimmicks? Are you really just,
yes,
with a somewhat steampunk aesthetic? That's just
yes. Let me. So, on one hand, you have
here we go,
the Nation of Domination. On the other hand, you have the Hurt Business.
Ooh,
do they recycle gimmicks?
Yikes indeed, man.
For another time.
But
Santos Escobar was wearing his Hijo del Fantasma gimmick to the ring, which I thought was really cool, complete with mask and cape.
Yes, everyone loves a good cape.
Grand entrances for both of these guys. I freaking love Jordan Devlin's theme song, by the way. The Irish Ace character is fantastic. These guys, this was a fantastic ladder match. It had everything you could ask for. It had the high spots. You had the chain wrestling.
Yeah, you had the very good, but it was controlled, like in a good way. They weren't doing anything too crazy. They weren't like to quote Brian Zane. They weren't creating little tinker toys with the ladders and like going bumping all over with that stuff. But they were doing very good ladder spots, but not anything too insane, in my opinion, until the very end.
Yeah, those spots at the end were just insane. Want to just get to those because there was a lot of chain wrestling. There was an awesome tope onto Jordan Devlin, and there was a ladder that was leaning against the hockey wall on the outside, and Devlin crashes into it. Can certainly say I've never seen that before. Santos was backdropped onto a ladder at one point, and Tomas texts me this quote right after it happens. Ay, cabron! He screams it out audibly. Like,
that was great. That made me mark out. And also, this is when I noticed the crowd was not only very alive. WWE, thank God, turned off the piped-in chants.
Yep.
I could hear the fans. They were chanting, "Let's go Santos, let's go Devlin," very back and forth. This is awesome. It was more natural.
If I can address that real quick, was it just me or was Devlin working babyface in this?
Oh, what?
Okay, yeah. So it wasn't just me.
God. So, the live audience. One of my favorite moments from having the live audience back. And like Tomas said, on night 2, they either cut the pre-recorded stuff or they lowered it like a bunch. It was great because Devlin was playing the face. He was playing the good guy. But in the beginning of the match, more people were cheering for Escobar, and I was loving it.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he had his little fan club. There was a good section of like these big dudes. I could hear him in the back. Escobar, Escobar.
That's what I love more about a live audience. Let them decide who they want to cheer for, and it's not like And I know again, it's out of our control right now for the time being. But you can tell with the Thunderdome, WWE plays who needs to be cheered, and they play who needs to get booed. But it's cool. It's like we all have an opinion. If you like Escobar, that's great. If you like Devlin, that's great. Like, let's have these dueling champs against each other, and that added more to the match, in my opinion. The general crowd chatter was still there, which I do think you need, but no more of this. Piped in. This is awesome. No more of this piped in monotone. Dexter Lumis.
I mean,
I hated that.
I mean, not like you would hear that in general, because who would cheer for the Creep Farm? But anyway,
when we get into the NXT North American title match, I'm going to bring that point up. I promise.
Yeah, Jordan Devlin's offense is freaking awesome, guys. Like, he makes his comeback and he's doing freaking Spanish flies. He moonsaults off the top of a ladder onto Santos Escobar, which, oh my God, that was one of the sickest moonsaults I've seen in years. That probably rivals Kurt Angle's moonsault off the top of the cage onto Benoit in 01.
Yeah, I was very nervous because whenever they go to the tippy top of the ladder, as Taz would say, I get nervous because how unstable those WWE wooden ladders are. And we've seen RVD fall off the ladder. So it's not impossible. It has nothing to do with the wrestlers being unstable or being clumsy. That's just, that's dangerous. You're not supposed to stand on the top rung of a ladder. So seeing these wrestlers do that, see that ladder wobbling. But the fact that Devlin was able to do a picture perfect off of it was, a thing of beauty.
More credit to him. But this actually brings me into my main nitpick with this match, the Legado del Fantasma run-in. Devlin is climbing the ladder all by himself. Legado runs in and they freaking maul him. And then they go to the back, and then Santos is climbing the ladder by himself, and Devlin's right back up. He chucks the ladder at him, just bring it style. And I'm like, what was the point of that run-in? Like, Like they try to.
If they did it for two reasons. Number one, I wish they would have been selling the tag team match from the night before. Number two, Escobar specifically told them during the pre-show, don't get involved.
Yeah. Well, they already forgot about that, and then Santos was happy that they came out. Like,
so yeah, I agree. A little bit of inconsistency there. A rare moment of inconsistency in NXT.
Yeah, but the ending sequence is freaking awesome. Devlin hits a Spanish fly off the ladder, which looked freaking beautiful. Looks like Devlin had a cut on his shoulder at this point, I noticed. He climbs up to the top, and you notice there's a Tinker Toy ladder set up in the corner. Santos hits him with a gigantic headbutt, and Devlin falls all the way down through that big old wooden gimmicked ladder, and he's freaking dead. And Santos... that could not have been comfortable whatsoever. Santos goes up and he grabs the titles, and I was like, damn it. I really wanted Devlin to win. I don't know what it was, but
I love how dominant Escobar has been, because this is not Devlin's fault, obviously. NXT UK was shut down for 6 months, and that hurt his momentum. And even though it was very cool that they still recognized Devlin as the champion when he came back, while Devlin was unfortunately on the sidelines, Escobar was on NXT dominating.
Right.
I don't know who's going to take that title off Escobar. Hell, I'll be okay if he holds it for another year. There is literally nobody else. Literally nobody else.
Yeah.
I can. This is the most dominant.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, my apologies. Internet connection was a little unstable there, but
overall, it's gonna sound a little surprising, but I give the match 3.5. But that's a good 3.5. It was a very solid opening ladder match.
I gave this 4.5, man. I really loved this. My only things keeping it from going any higher are Devlin not winning. I think it would have made more sense because Legado really did not play much of a factor in this finish, aside from the run-in.
Not to compare, because I know we're not here to compare, but we complained during Revolution that there was a street fight, ladder match, and an exploding barbed wire death match all in a row. And that was a big exception.
Yeah.
We had a ladder match and an unsanctioned street fight in the same night. They kept them pretty far away from each other, just so we wouldn't get burnt out.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense for sure. Kris, I know you liked this match.
I gave it a 4. I enjoyed this match. Devlin and his blockhead are really good. I do appreciate them. He is a good wrestler. Was I excited that he was champion? Meh. But he's a good worker. He's very talented. Escobar is my guy in the Cruiserweight division. I find it funny that the Cruiserweight champion no longer works on the show that's meant for the Cruiserweights.
Yeah, 205 Live is like non-existent right now. I mean, it is, but nobody watches it.
It is now the superstars for the tiny guys.
30-minute show on the WWE Network that literally features like 6 guys. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yep. Just nix it. It's dead.
That's so sad. Why don't people like Cruiserweights?
Everyone who's at 205 Live, just move them to the NXT roster because they have some solid guys. They got Kurt Stallion. They have August Gray, who was fun to watch. Neeson and Corey are still there. The Bollywood boys are fun. Everrise, they're a thing. We take all those guys. I don't want to get into this tangent right now, so bear with me. Mansoor is very fun to watch. Take all of those guys, put them on NXT. There's really no point alive anymore.
Yeah, but
Yeah. No.
Great opener. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, last point I want to make about Devlin is that unfortunately for him too, I feel like he was robbed because he won the title at Worlds Collide, and then 2 months later he's not able to defend anymore. And
No.
he was defending it on NXT UK, but I don't think WWE was going to push this guy. They were going to move him to NXT, and he was going to dominate on NXT. And unfortunately, his momentum got derailed so hard. Hopefully, now that he's able to come back to the States, they can kind of, try again with him in a different way. But
he really did. Poor guy. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Santos celebrates after the match with his 9-year-old son on stage. He's a heel. How can you boo this guy when he's celebrating with his kid? Like,
Brian Zane, with the quote of his review, he said he thought -1 jumped ship.
Yikes. No, that's not -1. No, we're not talking about -1 right now.
Versus -1 in 10 years from now. I guarantee you that match is going to happen.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, boy. We do get the, speaking of titles, women's tag team titles on the line. Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. The champions come out and the Tank is wearing the titles, which is an awesome gimmick. I'm like, the Tank is the champions now, and Shotzi and Ember are just riding the Tank. Like,
I don't know her. She's not a personal friend, but I know people that are friends with Shotzi Blackheart, and I have watched her wrestle a couple of times live in the Bay Area. I know how much that little Tank of hers was a big part of her character. So or go to WWE, basically have her dream come true, and have WWE build a brand new for her to be in NXT. I'm just so happy for her.
oh,
Incredibly hard to get to NXT, and she
really does, yeah. But this poor girl's gonna freaking kill herself one of these days because, like, every single match I've watched over this past year with Shotzi Blackheart, it involves some high-risk maneuver where she almost ends up paralyzing herself. Like, there was a tope, and she, like, I don't know if it was, like, a mislanding with Candice and Indy or, like, miscommunication, but she, like, bends completely in half. Like, and I'm like, good Lord. Like, I mean, I'm glad she came out of it okay.
Hartwell and LeRae were there to catch her, because if they weren't there to catch her, I was scared she was going to pull a Lita and just fold like an accordion.
Well, she almost did. She almost did. Like, but
LeRae and Hartwell were there to catch her.
Yes, but the challengers did work pretty good in this match. This was kind of your typical tag team match. I will say, though, regardless, I do support indie wrestling full on. How do we not get an indie wrestling chant during this match? How?
I don't know, but the fans were chanting Indy sucks, and that is wrong. She
does
not suck.
She does
and
not
I will
suck.
say, this was the match where I saw the most out of her, and it made me go, she's a good worker. She is working with someone. She is under the wing of someone very experienced like Candice LeRae, and
Johnny Gargano for that matter. Because she's in that stable. She is tall, isn't she?
She's really tall. She is very funny, man. She is extremely funny on NXT.
Well,
and as long as you go this way with her, she's going to be a nice little piece of talent in WWE for a while.
I think I think the way in general is just freaking hilarious. Like, and Indy being a part of that. Like, they're just naturally funny heels. They're obnoxious, but they're just naturally funny. Like, I don't understand it. They shouldn't be this funny, but like
Candice LeRae, total Wonder Woman vibes from her ring gear, and remember that because I'm going to bring that up again in the next match. This match in the beginning was a little slow, and I wasn't getting into it, but it picked up.
It definitely
got a little better by the ending.
This was a very generic tag team match for me. It's not like the work was bad or anything, but like it didn't really get exciting for me until Ember Moon got the hot tag in and did the Road Dogg shout out. Hoping, yeah.
They could have put this match on Tuesday, and it would
Yeah, this would have been an above average match on an NXT, weekly show. But yeah, there's why did you need 2 hot tags in this, by the way? Because Ember gets a hot tag and then Indy distracts her, and then they get the heat on Ember for a little bit. But I don't know. It was fine. Yeah, she does. Indie Wrestling does her patented Tower of Doom, and I'm just gonna call her Indie Wrestling right now. You'll never hear me call her Indie Hartwell on one of these, but yeah. So Indie
on Christmas.
He says, "I support indie wrestling."
Who needs a PlayStation 5 when you could be called indie? I want a goddamn t-shirt with that. I'll buy 2.
Oh, I want all the way merch right now.
Would you shake her hand and say, "I support indie wrestling"?
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll do the same thing. Yeah. Now you get a Shotzi hot tag. I mean, there was. Oh man, this finish was really, really great. Ember Moon hit a double eclipse on both challengers. Shotzi hits her senton onto Indie Wrestling, and she pins Indie Wrestling. Shotzi Blackheart just pinned all of Indie Wrestling right there. This was a 3-star match, pretty good. Not gonna say it was like an instant classic or anything, but the girls worked hard. They got time.
3-star match. All 4 girls were good. And, they put in their work, and I want Hartwell and Ray to win the titles, but I want Blackheart and Moon to hold on to them just for a couple more months. Do another match in a couple months.
Yeah.
And if Gargano, if they can get all the titles on the way, that'd be dope.
Please. I welcome that. I welcome. Yes. Give me more of the way, please. But Chris, do you support indie wrestling? Did you like this match at all? Do you support indie wrestling?
I gave the match 3 1/4. It was okay for a tag team match. There wasn't anything spectacular or crazy. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. My attention zoned in and out of this one.
Yeah.
I don't know the hype behind Ember Moon. I don't see it.
I mean, she. I mean, she did go through
personal opinion.
Very cool.
She did go through a gimmick change. It's it's a gimmick change.
Get that furry shit out of here, please. I will say that's the one thing about her gimmick I don't like. Get rid of that tail.
Get rid of the tail.
Yes, I 100%. I'm gonna get canceled for this, but I 100% have a thing against furries. So get rid of the fucking tail. I know that's completely off topic, but whatever. Watch. I'm going to get canceled for this.
Well, we're not going to get canceled for this next match because you have Bronson Reed getting his North American Championship match against Johnny Gargano. Batman Gargano. I'm so happy with this. What?
Canceled for that. Anywho, when I saw Lorray wearing the Wonder Woman gear,
that just threw me off terribly there.
Batman entrance, some sort of Justice reference that is 100% a shout out to the Snyder Cut, which is relevant right now. And when I saw, the and then the symbol of the way, that was my mark out moment of the night.
Oh, that was
out of
awesome.
Everything that happened tonight. That was the mark out moment of the night. And then he came out, and I thought he was wearing Cyborg, but then they immediately said it was Iron Man. I was like, okay, everyone does compare Tony Stark to Bruce Wayne anyway, so fun little parallel. Like, we all know that Gargano's the Marvel guy, so he had to but the Snyder Cut is relevant right now.
Weave it in there, yeah. But he is also accompanied by his gimmick teenage son, Austin Theory, and they do the freaking no look high five, and Gargano is freaking dancing to his theme song, and I'm like, this is like as a character, I love this heel Johnny Gargano, but as a wrestler, like he works so much better as a babyface in the ring. Like, I'm sorry, that's just the way I see it. Like his matches, I'm way more invested in them when I'm cheering for him. You know?
I see what you mean, but I feel like Gargano now has that Sami Zayn complex that he's just so entertaining as a heel.
Don't jinx him, please, because now he's gonna get shafted down the card like Sami Zayn is.
Okay, so this is where I was gonna bring up my point. So everybody not last night, but on night one was saying, why Bronson Reed? They've been doing this feud with Dexter Lumis. Why didn't they go with Dexter Lumis? Why didn't they go with Dexter Lumis? Bronson Reed is over as a babyface. And in case you haven't noticed that we've been alluding to, Bronson Reed is definitely a lot easier to get behind.
Bronson Reed is also a better wrestler than Dexter Lumis. I said it.
Ooh, we have a hot take on this channel.
Yep. I said it. I'm sorry, Chris. Dexter Lumis is going to hunt me down in my nightmares tonight.
You think about your underdog storylines, and they went about this with Reed too, when they interviewed him and they were talking to him and his wife, and he was talking about he's a little on the bigger side, and people have told him he's never going to succeed because of his bigger side. He's a lot easier to get behind. He's a lot more relatable to get behind than a guy who people and kidnaps them for fun.
Yeah, Chris.
And his gimmick, I just think the situation with the fans, mind you, with the fans in attendance, Bronson Reed is a lot easier to get behind than Dexter.
Chris, I'm sorry to say, yeah, I can't get behind Dexter Lumis and how he
performs people. What are you guys talking about? How is it hard to get behind someone who kidnaps people for fun?
The man who chloroformed Austin Theory, kidnapped him for 3 days, and then made Indy Hartwell have weird Stockholm syndrome Beauty and the Beast feelings for him.
Also, don't forget the guy that kidnapped Roderick Strong away from the Undisputed Era for a few days, and that resulted in a strap match.
Remember, the guy was basically a date rapist in Impact Wrestling.
Yep.
Well, you know what I'm hearing?
For his weight is a lot easier to get behind than, I'm sorry, John Wayne Gacy.
What's up, Chris?
You know what I'm hearing with all these examples of what Dexter Lumis has done with his illustrious career. He makes you feel something. What it is, I don't know. Call a doctor, see if you're okay. But he makes you feel something.
He's
in a wrestling promotion where I don't know if he was kidnapping and killing pedophiles.
Oh,
easier to get behind there. But no, Austin Theory's a douchebag, but does he deserve to get chloroformed and kidnapped for 3 days and fed cereal for a weekend?
I don't remember.
Lumis is a great guy. He fed me cereal and I watched cartoons all day.
I don't remember ever laughing this hard on a pod. Dexter Lumis kidnaps.
What?
Oh my God. Okay, so Bronson Reed is
on the line. Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano.
Bronson Reed is no selling Johnny Gargano's offense in the early going until he freaking takes a shot to the midsection, like in the corner of the table. He freaking hits it like diverticulitis first, and he's selling it the whole match. Gargano puts a bullseye on his whole midsection, and it's so off because he's the smaller guy and he's a heel. But I don't know. It was a good match. I liked it, but Gargano's a much better babyface. I'm sorry.
It is heat, then he needs to zero in on, some sort of body part to, chop the big redwood down, so to speak.
Right, but this is like ass backwards. I feel like Bronson Reed, like just because of, you know, being the big guy and Gargano being the small underdog, like theoretically, that story writes itself, but the roles are reversed and Bronson Reed is the good guy. Like, I don't know.
So may I, sir?
The floor is yours.
Yes, I see what you're talking about. It makes sense. What you're saying is true. That would be the case. But since Gargano is a heel, and this is great storytelling on both Gargano and Reed's part, because on night one during the ladder match, Reed shows signs that he had his midsection hurt during that match, during the ladder match.
Yep.
Right? What? Not ladder match. Not ladder match. Gauntlet match.
The gauntlet. Yeah.
So it was an injury, not only that he received, but he sustained it from the night before. So that's good long-term selling. But also, when you're a big guy, there are 3 parts of you that are the weakest. Those are your knees, that is your ribs and midsection, and then your head. Those are the 3 weak spots on a big guy. So you should aim for those. So Johnny, being the heel, he saw Reed clench his midsection. Reed carrying that injury over from the night before. If you're a heel, what's your main tactic? Pinpoint, torture.
Exactly. Yep. And he
put it. I honestly thought it was great storytelling and great selling on both of their accounts.
I'm not disputing that.
Worked together very well.
They did. Yeah. And
so I wanted Bronson Reed to win the title, and I was very hyped for him to win the Gauntlet, and then when he won and going into it. But when I was watching the women's tag title match, it kind of hit me. I got hit with a hard dose of reality. Unlike the second dose I'm going to take in my arm next Wednesday, I got hit with this hard dose of reality that was the way is a very strong faction. They all can't lose.
Yeah.
Either Hartwell and Lorraine need to win the titles and Gargano loses the North American title, or vice versa. When I saw Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, I kind of had it in the back of my head that, you know, like you said earlier in the year, you know, what's the use of the Gargano way if he's just going to lose all the time? So I'm like,
yep,
they're all going to look like a bunch of geeks if they just lose every single takeover.
Yep.
So it was, the writing was kind of in the sand already. That if LeRae and Hartwell weren't going to win the tag team titles, then Gargano needs to at least hold on to his North American title.
It's amazing. Every time we want Johnny Gargano to go on this big winning streak like we did last year, he keeps losing. And now we want him to lose the title to the likes of Kushida and Bronson Reed. He keeps on winning. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
And this was very good. And every time I saw Reed winning, like, you know, he went for the tsunami and Gargano moved out of the way. I did really enjoy the spot where Gargano went for the Gargano escape and he realized he could not hook it onto him. So he hit the ribs again. And that's when he was finally able to get that hold onto Reed. And I love what Gargano does with that move. He always like slowly puts it in and then he goes and clamps it on real nice. I love it
on. There it is. Yep. It's fantastic drama there, building it up. Austin Theory, of course, runs interference because he is Johnny Gargano's frat son. Bronson Reed is pitching Austin Theory all over the ringside. He hits a tope on Austin Theory, which is a sight for sure. Johnny Gargano somehow hits that reverse spike Rana that he does on Bronson Reed, who's over 300 pounds. Like, that was great. Great. Great reversals. Reed is missing the moonsaults, and I really liked how Gargano had to hit the one final beat twice in a row. Two final beats.
For the moonsault, I knew he was going to lose. Cause I'm like, that's not his finisher. If he wanted to win, he should have went for Tsunami. So it was kind of like I was sad like this match because I knew what was going to happen. And
yeah.
Okay, so like I said before, I guess this is the best way to put it. My brain said Gargano has to win. My heart wanted Reed to win because the second time in a year that I felt like they missed the opportunity to put the title on this guy and just strap the proverbial rocket on him and send him into outer space. And I'm just scared because now, if they don't do it, I don't think they ever will. And I don't know to take the title off Gargano. You know, there is, Lumis. You could still do him, but it looks like he's going to start feuding with LA Knight.
Thank you. No titles for Dexter Lumis, please.
No. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. Overall, the match was 3.5. It was very good, and Johnny Takeover did come out at the end.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. It was
yeah.
Good. It was very solid.
I give it 3 3/4 if I'm being really nice. This is far from the best Johnny Takeover match ever. This doesn't hold a candle to his match with Kushida a couple months ago, but
this was a shining moment for Bronson Reed.
Absolutely. Again, I'm not disputing that. Bronson Reed looks like he was on another freaking level in this. And I would honestly argue that this could have been the spot where you put the title on him because Johnny Gargano has honestly done it all in NXT. So
it was not the best Gargano match, but this was a showcase. That was a better word, a showcase for Bronson Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and again, I'm a huge mark for this guy. It is thick boy season, and it needs to keep being thick boy season.
Yes, it needs to be thick boy season, huh, Chris? Thick boy season.
Thick boy season every season.
Yes. What would you give this match?
I gave the match a 4. It
All
was
right.
not bad. Reed had a good showing. It was great storytelling. I don't want to say I'm a mark for Gargano, but I like his work.
Yeah.
I'm a real fan of Gargano's work, both face and heel.
I will always have a special connection with Johnny Gargano, I feel, because he...
Yeah, I will go as far as saying, and we've seen Gargano go toe-to-toe with Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa, but considering who he's faced this year, Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, Damian Priest, Leon Ruff, I feel like this is, the best batch of, consistently good mid-card opponents that Gargano's ever faced. It's a different tier, again, away from the Ciampas and the Velveteen Dreams and all that. But this has been Gargano. He's been putting people over.
Yep.
Put Reed over. Put Ruff over. Put Priest over. Put Kushida over. I feel like that's where Gargano is in his NXT career. He needs to, make these guys look good.
I agree, man. But hey, speaking of people who are over, are you ready for the NXT Championship match, which is somehow not the main event? Finn Balor defending against Karrion Kross, who holds the best freaking entrance in NXT. What's up, Tomas?
I wasn't in this match.
I mean, give the man credit where it's due. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you here. I think this was Karrion Kross's best match easily since coming to NXT. Easily.
To be fair, let's get into the good stuff first. Like you said, Kross had a very cool entrance with his very cool girlfriend Scarlett, and his presentation is fantastic. Scarlett, fantastic. He has the look, he has the gimmick. He is almost the total package.
Almost.
Balor had a very cool entrance where they were showcasing his career in NXT and on the main roster. Balor was going to drop this title for a couple reasons. Number one, like I said, I'm really into Karrion Kross as a wrestler. I don't know what it is about him. I want to him. Like I said, his presentation is top notch. His character is top notch. There's
fly.
There's something, the fly is trying to get over. There is something about Karrion Kross that I just
it.
He gave Keith
Yeah.
Finn Balor carried this match on his shoulders, on his back. I'm surprised Balor didn't break his back during this match. He was carrying this match.
Yikes.
Can't get it across.
We should also note that
my feelings by the end of it.
We should also note that Finn Balor had painted a big red X on his pectoral muscle for, the gimmick that he has, X marks the spot. He's the target. And Finn, Karrion Kross was doing his usual offense, and Finn was laughing at him. And it was freaking on from that point. I love the story of this match. I freaking loved it. Karrion Kross was trying to do his usual shtick. Finn Balor wasn't having any of that shit.
And I feel like the story was the same exact story we got the night before with Gonzalez and Shirai, only because it's the big challenger versus the smaller champion. And for the build, it's been almost one-sided over how dominant Kross was over to Balor, just like Gonzalez was to Shirai. And I couldn't help with that. It was bugging me. That on top of everyone was saying, like, oh, well, Kross is back from injury, so he's just going to take the title off. And I don't know. I guess I was just expecting a little more unpredictability from this feud instead of, oh, hey, Balor, thanks for, being the champ for the past few months. Kross is back. We're just going to, resume business. And in the beginning, when Kross was squashing Ciampa, when he was squashing, everyone was like, I dug it. But when he came back, something about it, I can't put my finger on it. He's not the best in-ring worker.
Chris, do you like Karrion Kross?
Meh. Karrion Kross, but this was definitely a match of the night for myself.
Wow.
I very much enjoyed this one.
Wasn't expecting that. Match of the night. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, yeah.
I liked both gentlemen's showing. They both worked well together. There were good spots throughout the whole match. They played off of each other very well, and the ending was very poetic to me. I don't know. They hit Finn like the ending. They hit the camera on Finn's face, and he was just straight on with like the front. You could see Karrion was behind him. He looked at the camera, and I was like, that's phenomenal selling. I know he's losing.
Oh.
And one more good elbow. 1, 2, 3.
That was it.
It was phenomenal selling. It was a very poetic ending. I saw that Finn was like, I'm going to lose now.
Kind of like
I saw
the dog out the pasture.
Yep. Taking old Yeller out to pasture, even though Finn Balor's nowhere near that age or near that sick. But Finn Balor had a really excellent comeback also. Karrion Kross did kick out of the coup de grace, as Wade Barrett called it, the coup de grace, or, however he wants to pronounce it. Man, this ending was awesome. They were just the coup de grace. Yeah, they were just exchanging big moves, doomsday Saito suplexes, and then to Chris's point, Karrion Kross just hits one big elbow right to the back of Balor's neck, and that's the end. Finn Balor was a great champion. He really was, and this was his first loss at a TakeOver since the steel cage match against Samoa Joe back in 2016, which is bonkers.
Yeah. Now the big question here, honestly, for me, is now what's next for Karrion Kross. Mine more, I guess, concern, kind of wondering is what's next for Finn Balor.
What's next for
A
Balor?
second call up.
A second call up.
Do
the first ever 2-time call up. Let's go.
NXT and do the unnecessary rematch, or, and I'm not 100% against this, I'm just saying, do you move him back to Raw or SmackDown? But WWE better be serious with him this time.
Yeah,
They're not serious with him this time, then Balor just might as well just hang it up and call Tony Khan.
Yep. I did see one tweet from someone who is begging for this version of Finn Balor to take on the head of the table, and I was like, I never knew how much I needed something. This version of Finn Balor taking on this current version of Roman Reigns would be an awesome match. Finn Balor would just be laughing at all of his antics. Like,
so remember that Finn Balor is so confident now that he has gone account to saying, "You want to know where the demon is? I don't need him anymore."
Yep. And all the paint he needs is the X right there. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, it's a fantastic character. I gave this match 4 stars. 4 stars, Tomas.
Ooh, I'm the odd man out.
You really don't like Karrion Kross, do you?
2 3/4.
What? 2 3/4?
I don't know. I couldn't get into it. It was just like the women's title match. I saw the match, the ending coming from a mile away. I'm not a huge fan of Kross. Again,
yeah.
Everything about him, his presentation is awesome.
I will agree with you on one front. His matches haven't really impressed me that much. His match with Ciampa at In Your House only went 5 minutes. He got injured against Keith Lee, and that match even really wasn't all that great to begin with. His match against Damian Priest at New Year's Evil really didn't impress me all that much. And like, I think this is what we were waiting for, gentlemen, with Karrion Kross. I think he needed a stiff working opponent like Finn Balor to really put him over the top and put him over the hump. And like, I realize that this is kind of an unideal situation with Karrion Kross and Raquel Gonzalez as your top champions in NXT, but like, that's what we got, guys. That's what we got.
Yeah, to be fair, it was time for a new chapter in NXT. And with some call-ups about to happen, you know, you do need these 2 new top people in NXT. Yeah. And to be fair, I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do across this time around. Maybe I'll change my tune about him after a couple of defenses. Let's see who he feuds with next. We have, you know, a brand new babyface coming out of this pay-per-view, which I think would be an excellent opponent for him. We'll get into that later.
And we're about to talk about him.
You know, we have, which we'll get into before we get into the main event, a brand spanking new Olympian wrestler that they are putting over like crazy, who you know they're going to put a rocket onto once he gets started. You know, so we'll see. We'll see what they do with him.
They may Brock Lesnar Gable Steveson to the top for all I know, but whether or not Finn Balor gets called up, I don't know. I will be very concerned if he does, because WWE does tend to forget that Finn Balor was the first ever Universal Champion for a day. But guys, it's time. Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole in an unsanctioned street fight. Tomas was joking that before we started recording, "Oh, Kris, I'm glad to see after your 40-minute clinic with Adam Cole that you're doing okay," even though Kris looks nothing like Kyle O'Reilly now. Like,
that is a lie. Yes, he does.
hey, you guys think I look like Matt Riddle? That's a lie too. But
hey, my girlfriend's the one that brought it up first.
Okay. What a video package, by the way. I have a question, guys. If this match is unsanctioned, why is it being advertised? Why does NXT want anything to do with this?
Hey, the referee was working for free in this match.
I realize that, but why does NXT feel the need to promote it if they don't want to sanction it? Like,
I don't know. I just thought I'd make a joke.
Well,
I don't know.
No, it's unsanctioned, so they don't have to take any responsibility for how badly they hurt each other.
Right.
They'll still advertise the hell out of it.
because they're fickle like that.
Pro wrestling.
Yeah,
Pro wrestling.
Kyle O'Reilly does come out with a brand spanking new theme song, and I'm so glad he can still strum the air guitar on the way to the ring.
Okay, I want to make a point about that. Everybody hates it.
I really like it.
It just debuted. I know we all love the Undisputed theme Undisputed theme song, but
I
don't
was
shit
upset
on it right away.
I was upset when I didn't hear Adam Cole come out to the Undisputed theme, but like the more I think about it, the more it makes sense because Undisputed is done. It's like, you know, like once the Shield broke up, like Roman Reigns was the one that inherited the music, and it was like
Stupid.
Yeah.
So
it'd be dumb.
I just don't understand why fans were so quick to jump down Kyle O'Reilly's new theme's throat. To be fair, it was generic in the beginning, but after the match, after I heard, I was like, it fits him.
Yeah. I mean, both of these themes fit perfectly. These guys went 40 minutes, as I previously alluded to, and they absolutely kicked the living daylights out of each other. It obviously wasn't going to be as brutal as a lights out match for AEW because obviously this is WWE, you know, it's got to be PG somehow, but they still found a way to make it brutal. They introduced a steel chain in the match and they found a lot of really unique ways to use that. Like I thought there was a point where they clipped the chain into like the top rope and I was like, are they going to just tinker toy with this chain the whole match? Like, I don't know.
And they did something that I never thought I'd see before in a wrestling match, and it was pretty brutal. I'm pretty sure it was O'Reilly, or was it Cole? Took, you know, the chain and just, you know, straight up just clotheslined someone with it. And not like holding the chain, they ran it with it. No, like they held it out. So when whoever was running back at it just got like, boom, clipped at the throat with that thing. And I thought that was a very creative spot.
He theoretically got clotheslined by the clothesline, basically.
Yeah.
There were a couple of steel chairs brought in that had this lovely emblem on it right here. And that made me
symbolism.
Made me very sad because I obviously love the Undisputed Era. They're like, you know, this match made me very sad.
Much.
You know, end of an era.
Very much symbolism there.
Yep. And Adam Cole was beating the.
We live in a society.
Those chairs. We live in a society. But anyway, yep. They're beating the crap out of each other. Adam Cole tried to Pillmanize Kyle O'Reilly at one point, which I was like, you don't see that all the time. You don't see that all the time.
Oh no. My only nitpick of this match, believe it or not, was they got to a point where O'Reilly was going to brainbuster Adam Cole on the steel steps, and O'Reilly couldn't bring himself to it. And I'm just like, now you're starting to hold back?
Yeah.
Everything you guys have done to each other this match. And the brainbuster is where you cross the line. I mean, where you draw the line. The very move that Cole did to you.
Yeah, I was like, you shithead, Kyle, beat this fucker up. He did so much stuff to you. Like,
a very odd choice there.
Yeah, but these guys were, there was a point where Kyle hit like a brain buster on Adam Cole on the announce table, and it did not break. It did not break. It did not cave, and it was a sick-ass landing, and it did make me cringe. Chris, it looks like it hurt. I know all that shit hurts. Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the, no, I shouldn't say most of the weapons. The tables and the ladders, they're structurally sound, so they're functional, but to an extent, they're meant to break.
Yep.
If you do any of this, if you do what Devlin did and fall through a ladder, a normal ladder will not snap in half under you.
No.
It will keep its shape and it will hurt you.
Yes, it will.
Same goes with the tables. They're structurally sound. You could use it as a table, but someone is meant to go through it. It's supposed to like let you go through it a bit.
Yeah.
But that announce table, it should fall apart. You've all seen it. It falls apart the same way. It's 4 parts. It's 2 sides, the top, and the front.
Yep.
It falls apart the same way every time.
It just didn't this time.
When it doesn't, it's like hitting a plastic floor. It has
yep.
no, if it doesn't break, it has no give. You feel that bump in your bones.
You absolutely do.
It's not pleasant.
No,
Riley and Cole made their way over to the timekeepers area, and then Cole takes a freaking TV monitor and just smashes it over the head of O'Reilly.
Yeah, he chucked it
I
at
don't
Kyle
think
O'Reilly.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, it was like the size, and this isn't like one of those small old school TV monitors that you would see on the announce table. No, this was like a big 32-inch plasma, and he hits Kyle with it, and I'm like, that should be it. He's knocked out cold. He's done. But they kept going. They kept going and going and going. Adam Cole introduces a toolbox, gentlemen, and he pulls out a set of pliers. And we never get to find out what he does with these pliers. I was like, is he going to, like, pull a tooth out?
I know what the fans wanted because they were chanting, twist his nuts. No, twist his dick.
Oh, God.
Twist his dick. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Well, at least he didn't.
For 1 year now, you want to see this shit?
At least he didn't try to extract his eyeball. This is not under eye for an eye match rules, obviously, so he can't do that. So, I mean, he can. There's no rules. It's an unsanctioned match, but no, that's not how you win.
And then the tire iron comes out.
Yeah, the tire iron freaking, like, those shots didn't sound like, good Lord. The fans were chanting fight forever as they reached the 25-minute mark, and they certainly did fight forever. Yeah, several times in this
match. And then we got to probably the best part of the entire match. And Cole goes to try to Pillmanize O'Reilly again, but this time with the chair around the throat. And, okay, mind this in a match. The referee cannot qualify, he cannot count out, he cannot stop the match for any reason whatsoever. But, the referee is still a human being, so we can still try and attempt to talk some sense to these guys to not, kill each other. So this referee is up in Cole's face saying, please don't do this. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. So for his troubles, Cole just gives him an elbow right to the jaw. And the referee is out, and the fans start chanting, you deserve it.
Ref bump, by the way. Shout out to that ref. Phenomenal ref bump.
I was just about to say, Chris, we were talking about this. I think I want to say it was the Royal Rumble podcast, and you were talking about how those refs are also trained wrestlers to a certain extent, and they got to learn how to take bumps.
If you are in the ring or near the ring, you learn how to bump.
Yeah,
that is the rule.
Yes, that
goes for Panama Sunrise, and then he goes to pin him, but then he realizes you knocked the referee out. You dumbass.
Brilliant. Because at least the heel is the one that's the dumbass here. At least it's not the baby face, So, yeah. So it gets to what I think is the best part of the match. They go to the stage, and they go to do a move. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it looks like Adam Cole spinebusters Kyle O'Reilly, and they go through the stage in the style of Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow at Living Dangerously. That was awesome. I marked for that.
I marked for it too, but I was scared that's how the match was going to end. And I'm like, no, we need a definitive finish. I don't want the stretchers to come out and the commentators be like, oh, they're done. No, but thankfully they didn't, because Cole drags himself out of the rubble with a banged up, cut up elbow. And then he goes to the side of the ramp and just starts punching and kicking that thing through just to get O'Reilly back into the fight.
Kyle O'Reilly had some welts on his back. Man, those were gnarly. Adam Cole goes to hit the last shot. Kyle ducks, and he slaps on a knee bar for a little bit, and there was a point where he actually twists both knees at the same time, and I'm like, again, I've never seen that submission before. But then Kyle O'Reilly hits the last shot of his own, and I was like, oh, man. Adam Cole kicked out of his own finisher, but, how poetic would that have been? That would have been awesome. I would have loved that as the finish.
Did we pass the point where Cole hit the sickest looking super kick in the world?
Oh, yeah. No, he was hitting super kicks.
Riley with the... Did he so nasty. And I've heard people commenting that Cole slapped his thigh, but I'm just like, WWE, let it fucking go. If he does it once, it's not the end of the world.
Not being petty.
At the same time, people have made jokes saying that, like, oh, Cole, don't mess with him. He'll slap his thigh so hard at you.
God, those memes. Thigh slapping is not allowed, and Kris is going to do those all the time whenever he delivers a super kick.
Here's the thing. I defend thigh slapping.
Here it comes.
If you complain about thigh reaction when you see a move made with the thigh slapping, you do not get to complain about thigh slapping.
Yep.
Thigh slapping is a way of life.
It is. Thigh slapping is. This is the way. Thigh slapping is the way. But yeah, they wrestle for a little longer. They do some trash talking on the top rope. Adam Cole did hit a low blow earlier in the match because, again, it's no disqualification in an unsanctioned match. Kyle O'Reilly hits Adam Cole with a big hit right in the freaking dick, buddy. And Adam Cole, yeah, payback is a bitch, man. Like, Kyle O'Reilly hits him with the low blow, and then he wraps the steel chain around his shin bone, and he jumps off with the leaping knee with the chain. And man, Adam Cole took a sick bump on the chairs. Like, it was straight out of. What's up?
O'Reilly setting up for that. I was like, oh, he's gonna hit a flying knee with the chain, nothing big. And then he hit it, and then I saw, Cole face plant that chair, and I was like, that is nasty. And I was thinking, if that's not the finish of the match, and I don't know what is at this point.
And it was the finish of the match. The right person went over. Kyle O'Reilly pins Adam Cole clean in the middle. There's a new top babyface in NXT right there, Kyle O'Reilly. And I mentioned this. The second call up that I think is going to happen is Adam Cole, because I think this felt like a swan song and a half. Like, I would love to see Adam.
The only issue I would ever have with that is that in this match, I would want him to sell the injury. But if he doesn't come out the Friday after SmackDown, then it's pointless. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Sacrifice the selling, or he has to sacrifice the big reveal SmackDown after.
Yeah, I can get behind that, but
that's me. If I see him on SmackDown, I'm going to mark the fuck out.
Yep, I'd love to see him wrestle Roman Reigns. I'd love to see him wrestle Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Seth Rollins, all of them on the SmackDown side. But this unsanctioned match gets 5 motherfucking stars. I loved this. I don't think I loved this as much as Gargano Ciampa from New Orleans. Not nearly as much, but this felt like the definitive end to a feud.
5 stars. You see O'Reilly limping his way back up the entrance ramp, and that just looked like a man who's been through a war. And if there's one thing I've learned the hard way is that you never turn off an NXT TakeOver when the copyright logo comes up, because as we've seen in the past, stuff happens. Part of me was kind of expecting Roderick Strong, because he was shockingly absent from this match. And
he was absent from the whole TakeOver.
And he took the proverbial ball and went home. Because if you remember on NXT a week ago, he just left after his back for camera grabs. So I was kind of expecting Roderick Strong just to show up and take out O'Reilly and be like, kind of continue that. But we didn't get that. I feel like we'll get a brand new start to everything on Tuesday with NXT. No, this was a 5-star match. The drama was there. The energy was there. They really built this matchup from the start to make you feel like that they were going to kill each other.
Oh, yeah.
This was, sometimes, no. You don't need blood to have a good grudge match like this. And
right.
So the blood and the lights out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa did help out. But this is the perfect example of these two everybody shit at each other. It looked real. There wasn't a single drop of blood, not counting the cut up arm of Adam Cole.
Right. Yeah, and like to an extent, the big old welts on Kyle O'Reilly's back after he went through the stage. But anyway, yeah. What do you think, Chris?
I gave it 4 stars. Sorry, gentlemen.
That's fine. That's
could
fine.
not give it 5.
It's still a classic match.
It was okay. It was a good match. I liked the work they did. I liked the instruments that they implemented. The chain clothesline was really, I have not seen that either. So that was very nice. That was a new one. The TV monitor spot was also a good one. It was cool. I'm really worried that this is Kyle O'Reilly's big pinnacle win, and now he's gonna like fall to obscurity in the next couple months. I'm really worried about that.
I don't think so. I think Kyle O'Reilly. I think Kyle O'Reilly's going to be an NXT champion at some point soon.
This was the launching pad for O'Reilly, and considering that possibly the biggest star in NXT and Adam Cole is leaving to hopefully greener pastures, they need someone to take that spot.
Yep.
If we lose Finn Balor as well, we need a new top babyface, and I don't see anyone else more over and in the driver's seat than Kyle O'Reilly.
Exactly.
That people wanted to beat Finn Balor for that NXT title.
Yeah. Yeah, and I never would have expected that, but Kyle O'Reilly freaking made a believer out of me. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll see Adam Cole on Friday, but who knows at this point. But TakeOver Stand and Deliver. This was
overall, both nights.
Yeah, great show. 9 out of 10. Okay, I gave it 8.5, 8 3/4 because I wasn't really that big of a fan of the main event of night 1. If I'm being honest, but Walter Champa stole the show night 1. You have an instant classic unsanctioned match. What's not to like? It's NXT. You got a great ladder match. This is a great gift. It's wrestling fans' Christmas every year, and this was NXT's gift to all of us. So,
in my opinion, there's no such thing as a perfect show. There's always going to be something that I don't like. There's always going to be a match that didn't really click with me that well. Because if every single match on every single show was 5 stars, then I would be down, and that would be my decision. I can't be that physically and emotionally invested in every single match. So I feel like a 9 out of 10 is the best I could ever give a show, because I have never come across a show that was like, perfect 10 out of 10. There's always going to be that stinker of a match. There's always going to be that booking. And considering both nights of wrestling, there was very few I did not like.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan of the NXT Championship match. The women's tag title took a while to get off the ground. Night 1, considering, the opener was a little too short, but overall, those are nitpicks.
Yeah.
Fantastic 2 nights of wrestling. I did not mind that it was 2 nights, and I will go as far as saying, at least for NXT, I can't speak for WrestleMania until we watch it on Saturday and Sunday. I'm okay with the 2 nights. And if they make this a normal thing, at least for NXT, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it too. How about you, Chris?
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying this 2-night thing.
Makes the shows easier to sit through. The WrestleMania isn't like a total 7-hour chore to get through. It's not a whole workday, so it is. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome.
Considering, fingers crossed, we get back to somewhat of a more normal schedule set for WWE next year, like the Hall of Fame on a Friday, or maybe they can do a Hall of Fame on a Thursday. I feel like it's only going to get better. And again, we're in a more normal state of mind going.
And once we get back to a regular touring schedule, I think things will get a lot better. Which, by the way, WWE still owes us a pay-per-view in San Jose. Whether that's Extreme Rules or not, it's up to you. But Anyway, yeah, just don't make it the horror show. Don't do that, please. No eye for an eye match live. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think that'll just about wrap it up for this NXT pod. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. We got WrestleMania 2 nights. Yay! Look forward to that podcast. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Yes, we're rubbing our hands for WrestleMania. We're gonna rant. I've got a couple of rants coming up for that one, boys. Be prepared. So
I'm making nachos. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna have the big spread in front of me. All right. We'll look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. With all that being said, Back Talk commence.